Elden Ring is impressive in so many different ways, but one of the most fascinating things is the insane amount of items that you can find and collect in this game. Some players get lucky and stumble across the rarest of items, but others can go multiple playthroughs without finding any of the items on this list. So today, we're running through 10 of the rarest items which the average player will most likely never find in any of their playthroughs. And starting off at number 10, we have the Black Dumpling Helm, which is a piece of armor which is very rare to obtain due to its extremely low drop rate. The way to obtain this item is by coming to this location on the map and farming these enemies until the item will eventually drop. This helm will boost all damage by 10% for 60 seconds, but only after you suffer madness. The best tool for activating this buff is by using the Howl of Shibiri incantation, which will inflict madness directly to yourself. Just try not to get sucked off like I've done here. Next up at number 9, we have the Haligtree Crest Great Shield, which is an amazing looking heavy shield providing great stats. This shield would be great if you're going for some sort of pure Holy Knight build or Paladin build, but players that obtain this shield will find the final boss a walk in the park due to the very high holy damage negation which the shield offers. The shield has extremely low drop rate however, making it almost impossible for any average player to collect this item, especially on their first playthrough. Your only chance is if you're actively looking for the item or going to farm the item. In order to get this shield, players have to reach a single enemy near the Haligtree Root Site of Grace. Look for the Haligtree Knight standing in a graveyard. He'll be on his own at the very bottom of the Haligtree area. This single enemy only has a 4% chance to drop the shield, so make sure you bring item discovery boosting items. Moving on to number 8, we have our first weapon on the list, which is the Monk's Flame Blade. This is a curved greatsword scaling with both strength and dexterity. It can be infused with an Ashe of War, which adds more flexibility depending on your playstyle, making it one of the best looking and most versatile weapons available. That is, if you can get your hands on one. This weapon only again has a 4% drop rate and is obtainable by farming a single enemy. He can be located in the Giant Conquering Hero Site of Grace, and I've shown here how to get to him.
Hello there.
At number 7, we have one item which I have personally never seen anyone use, let alone find in this game. The Envoy's Great Horn is a colossal weapon obtainable in the late game. The weapon has a unique Ashe of War, the Great Ocular Bubble, which will tear through most tanky enemies. To get the Envoy's Great Horn, you must farm Envoy enemies inside Lanedale and the Haligtree, specifically the ones who wield this weapon, but be warned, you may be here for a while due to its only 2% drop chance. At number 6, we're looking at the Ripple Crescent Halberd, and this will be our only halberd type weapon on the list, and is mainly an arcane focus weapon. Many players that have been lucky enough to find one of these weapons utilise the S tier arcane scaling, along with adding different types of greases to the weapon, enabling amazing status build-up effects. To get the Ripple Crescent Halberd, you must farm Albinauric enemies that wield it, like the ones in the Academy Gate town area of Liurnia, or in the Palace Ledge approach area of Mogwyn Palace. Next up at number 5, we have the weapon which is just straight up cool and definitely worth grinding for. We're talking about the Magma Blade. However, prepare to put some time in to get this, as there only a 1% drop chance for this weapon. Its unique Ashe of War scatters magma all around the player, providing damage to all enemies within close proximity. I've seen a few people compare this weapon to Kratos' Blades of Chaos from God of War, but good luck getting 2 of these bad boys to complete the cosplay, because it's honestly insane. In order to get the Magma Blade, you must kill the serpent enemies inside Volcano Manor, specifically the serpents that are visibly wielding this type of blade. I've shown here how to get to the enemies from the Tower Site of Grace, and also shown a quicker shortcut that you can use to speed up farming these enemies. At numbers 3 and 4, we have 2 of the best faith weapons available in the game. We have the Clean Rot Spear and also the Halo Scythe, which are both obtainable by farming the same types of enemies. These weapons have an extremely low drop rate, which is why most players would have never found this weapon. The scythe has a 2% drop rate, whereas the spear is even less at 1% chance of dropping. To get the clean rot spear and halo scythe, you must farm lesser clean rot knights, who roam around the swamp of Ionia in the area of Caelid. These enemies can also be found in the shaded castle, though players have found that the ones in Caelid have a higher chance of dropping the items. As you can see here, I'm roaming around defeating these enemies, and more just spawning every single second, so it'd be quite easy just to keep farming these over and over without having to go back to a grace. At number 2, we have the Rotten Crystal Spear and also the Rotten Crystal Staff. These are two of the very few weapons in the game which grant you the Scarlet Rot status effect, and also providing you with magic damage. These aren't going to be someone's first choice of weapons, as there are better ones out there for sure, but boasting only an 8% drop chance, these weapons are certainly rare and unlikely most players would find these. To get the Rotten Crystal Spear and the Rotten Crystal Staff, you'll have to defeat various lesser Crystolian mobs. These can be found in the Haligtree area of the map. And finally at number 1, we have left the most rare for last, with only a 0.5% drop rate. These are the Celebrant's Cleaver, Celebrant's Sickle, and the Celebrant Rib Rake. These are 3 of the most horrifying weapons and made out of human bones, and can only be found in one place on the map. Once you make your way through Atlas Plateau, you have to continue onto the Windmill Village towards the north of Atlas Plateau. The 3 weapons share a unique ability that grants 10 runes per successful hit, and can be infused and buffed by magic or consumables. These aren't really useful, but they certainly are rare. Once you're here, you have to farm these enemies right by the Grace in order to obtain the 3 weapons. When attacking, you'll see that they pull out different weapons, and of course the ones wielding the weapons noted here are the ones that will drop them. If you are planning on going after any of the items noted here on the list, I would highly advise that you use some items to increase item discoverability, such as the Silver Scarab or the Silver Pickled Foot. Well guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you have enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like, as it really helps getting these videos out there. And leave a comment and let me know what you think, and also if any other items you think should have made the list. If you've not subscribed yet, now is a great time to do so you won't miss any future uploads. But thank you for watching, and catch you in the next one, fellas.